What is up, guys? And today, episode 2 of Deck versus Deck. Episode 1 was a really big success. You guys seem to like it, so we're gonna do episode 2 now. So if you haven't seen episode 1 of Deck versus Deck, be sure to check that video out. There I kind of explain the criteria and how this series is gonna work. So if you haven't seen that yet, certainly go and watch that video. If you already have seen that, well, here we are at episode 2. For this Deck versus Deck, we're going to do the green Artifice from, I think it's Theory 11, right? Yeah. No, it's from Illusionist, sorry, my bad. And Bicycle's Robocycle deck. I'm not sure if this comes in a different color. But these are the two decks that we are going to compare. So which one shall we start out with? I think we'll do the Artifice deck. Okay, guys, so I've decided to do criteria 1 look for both decks at the same time. I'm gonna have to speed run this because the video is gonna already be too long. I already did feel both criteria on the deck separately, and the video was starting to become like 15 minutes long, and I don't think anybody on YouTube has that long of an attention span. So we're gonna do both decks. We're gonna have to go through it pretty quickly. If you own any of these decks already yourself, then there's no need to watch this. We're just gonna go over the back designs, the royalties, the jokers, and the aces of spades, and the boxes. So we're going to start with the Artifice deck. The Artifice deck has kind of this theme that goes throughout the majority of the deck with this sort of lining, velvet kind of feel, I guess you could say. So you kind of have this velvet green with this nice silver lining. That also goes into the logo, which I think is a really nice touch. Then on the back, we just have the Artifice design. For the rest, there's not much special on the box. For the back design, you have this amazing silver lining that has incredible amounts of detail. So if you're looking for a detailed deck, the Artifice deck is definitely for you. And then you have the silver lining that goes around. And even on the border, you have these these corner designs with these small imprints along, so they focus on almost every aspect of the deck, to just add extra quality feel to it. For the Ace of Spades, honestly, the Artifice deck, Ace of Spades, is one of my favorite Ace of Spades that there ever is. This amazing velvet lining. It's just so detailed, so amazing, I would buy this deck again and again just to see this Ace of Spades, which is truly amazing. One of my favorite Ace of Spades designs there is, honestly, it is so cool. You have to get this deck. For the royalty, once again, you have this velvet lining, and also I noticed there's really cool detail that the clothing has the same suit that there is, which just shows the detail that they put into this deck, that the illusionist put into this deck, and the whole theme goes throughout. Also, with the jokers, these amazing jokers are one of the coolest jokers I've ever seen, and you can also see that he's holding a card. You get a second joker, of course, where the card is the other way around, so you can do some really cool color changes. Now to the Robocycle. The Robocycle deck also has a much stronger theme, I think. They focus on their theme a lot more. The box, I think, is really cool. You have this kind of computer tech kind of feel with this really cool font for Robocycle, and it even has this cool text, designed in the future, space age technology, which I think is a really nice touch. And on the back, just the regular card design like most boxes. Now here for the back card design, and truly nice techy feel. It's quite simplistic. There's not any detailed images or designs like in the Artifice. It has this really nice design with these bolts at the corner and these cool techy lines with this kind of gears and levers kind of feel to it in the middle with these circles around it, and all these triangles and squares throughout. Gives a bit of a geometry feel, and also kind of even a 3D design here. by these ends here. So overall, it's quite simplistic, but I really like the back design on the Robocycles. For the Ace of Spades, what I don't like about the Robocycle Ace of Spades is that there's so much text on it. I really think that text, you know, you can put the name of the deck. I find that fine, like with Artifice, but here they have so much text on it. You know, Robocycle is fine, and these gears are also pretty cool. But for the rest, I don't think you should put text by the Ace of Spades. Furthermore, the Ace of Spades has a really cool design to it. Once again, it gives sort of a geometry feel with sort of pumps and I don't know, like levers and stuff. So it gives a really cool design, a really cool feel when you're using the deck. Now to the royalty. I mean, Bicycle Robocycle Royalty is probably one of the coolest royalty I've ever seen. They have like these cool old school robot designs. I mean, look at these faces. The detail's so intricate by these royalties. These royalties are pretty much the equivalent of the Artifice is Spades. You know, you really should get this deck to see this artwork, this kind of old, how do you say that? Old school, kind of old school design to it by this Joker as well. You know how they take the classic card design and put their own touch to it, which gives by both decks, but I think mostly by the Robocycle, this really cool theme that goes throughout the deck. So that was criteria 1 for both decks. Okay, now we're going to go on to criteria 2 for the green Artifice deck. I'm going to try to go through these last 2 criteria a bit quicker to not make the video too lengthy. The feel for Illusionist cards, I think when it comes to them sliding on each other, the air cushion finish is very good. You can do fans very well with their personal finish. What I find though is with shuffling cards, like your regular ribbon shuffles and stuff like that, that they're kind of rough and they're kind of hard to bend and handle with than bicycle cards and other cards in general. I find that they're a bit stubborn to deal with, if you know what I mean. I think that bicycle cards are a bit more flexible if you're going to do some more serious flourishes or shuffles. So in that case, they could be kind of hard to deal with, especially if you're like a starting cardist or magician and you're using these these cards, then it's going to take some getting used to. But for their air cushion finish, you know, ribbon spreads, stuff like that, fans, it's very good, and overall it's a very professional finish. So now we're going to go on to the last criteria for the green Artifice deck. Okay, now we're on the last criteria for the green Artifice deck, which is quality. So like I said with the other criteria, Illusionist decks are profound for being pretty high quality and just professional cards overall. I think they do a really good job with obtaining that standard. Although I feel like that some things kind of lack. Like I find that the edges of this print here seem to be a bit faded out as well. And like I said, the stubbornness of the cards kind of annoys me every once in a while. But overall, these decks last like ages. And that just shows how well they are built, how well they are made. And in that mentality, Illusionist decks are very professional and very reliable as well. So I definitely recommend you guys to look at Illusionist decks, because when it comes to quality, they are very reliable. So that was the green Artifice deck. Okay, we're now in the second criteria. Like I said last time, I'm going to try to go through this a bit quicker, not to make the video too lengthy. This criteria is feel, and overall I find that the feel of bicycle cards are consistent, very consistent throughout all their designs, all their decks. Due to their air cushion finish, they just glide on each other so well. It's amazing. Like when you're doing poker deals, they glide. They glide on the surface like faster than any deck I have. And like when you're doing ribbon spreads, it's just so smooth. And I think that's just a consistency that only Bicycle has. So definitely if you're starting out and you want a deck that's good for flourishes, then bicycle decks are amazing to use, and they last so long. This glide, their finish, it lasts forever. I mean, I've had this deck for quite a while, and they're still spreading as if it's the day I used them, like the first day I bought them. So when it comes to feel for bicycle cards, it's always really professional and consistent. Okay, we're now in the last criteria for the bicycle Robocycles, which is quality, of course. Now, when it comes to bicycle, it's always as if their main focus is consistency, because, you know, all their decks are up to this bicycle standard, which is always really high quality. And, you know, that just shows to prove that you can always expect this high quality from bicycle, and that's just a really nice comfort for a customer, because just how long these decks last, the professionality of their finish, you know, their famous air cushion finish, is always very reliable, and, you know, the quality of bicycle decks overall are very consistent and just very professional. And I think you can always rely on bicycle for that. So those were the criteria for both decks, and now we're just going to say which one is the winner in my opinion. Okay, so today in episode 2 of Deck versus Deck, we've been comparing two amazing decks with each other, in my opinion. I think these are two of the most creative, original decks that I have, and I totally recommend both of these. But when it comes to the end result, when it comes to the winner, I'm gonna have to go with the bicycle Robocycles. Now, of course, why did I choose this? I just think that the theme of bicycle Robocycles goes throughout all the entirety of the deck. I mean, all the detail that they've put into this. I mean, it might not be the most amazing back design, for instance, but I just think that, you know, the theme of the bicycle Robocycle isn't to be the most eye-catching deck ever, but I just think that the detail they put into this, and the feel that you get when you're using this deck, just makes it the winner. I mean, especially when it comes to like, you know, the card designs, the royalty, just, you know, these cards definitely do it for me. All the ideas that they use, like for instance, this text on the box, designed in the future, space and technology. You know, this whole theme that Bicycle has done with this deck, I think really does it for me. And, you know, Bicycle does this a lot with their decks. You know, they pick a theme, but then when they have that theme, they use it throughout the entirety of the deck, and they have all these creative ways of showing their theme. And I just think that that makes the Bicycle Robocycles the winner of this Deck versus Deck episode 2. I do recommend both of these decks very highly. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode 2 of Deck versus Deck, and I will see you all next time.